The helicopter sounds faded, moving toward the valley instead of the cabin. A temporary reprieve. Elena and Talia spent the next days in a strange limbo, knowing discovery was inevitable yet savoring each moment together. Through their nights of intimate conversation and days of shared solitude, Elena learned that Talia's people, the Lysithians, communicated not just through words but through bioelectric fields, the same energy that caused her skin to luminesce. During their most intimate moments, Talia had begun teaching Elena to sense these fields. "Close your eyes," Talia instructed, sitting cross-legged on the bed opposite Elena. "Feel the space between us." Elena concentrated, expecting to feel nothing. Then, a whisper of sensation, like the charged air before a lightning strike. "I feel something," she murmured. "Like static, but alive." Talia's patterns brightened with delight. "That's me. My essence." She took Elena's hands. "Now focus deeper." Elena gasped as emotions not her own washed over her. Talia's wonder, her affection, her fear of separation, all transmitted through the subtle electrical field between them. "This is how my people share themselves completely," Talia explained. "No deception possible, no misunderstanding." "It's beautiful," Elena whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Why hasn't my species evolved this?" "Perhaps because you have something equally powerful." Talia touched Elena's chest, feeling her heartbeat. This incredible capacity for empathy, for connecting despite differences, for breaking rules to save someone who should be your enemy. That night, their lovemaking transcended the physical. As Talia's bioelectric field encompassed them both, Elena experienced consciousness from two perspectives simultaneously. Herself and Talia, human and alien, intertwined in a feedback loop of sensation and emotion. At dawn, Elena woke to find Talia standing by the window, staring at the sky with an expression of mingled hope and dread. "What is it?" Elena asked, wrapping a blanket around herself as she joined her. "They found me." Talia pointed to a particular star that seemed to pull slightly. "My people. That's their signal." Elena felt her heart constrict. "How long?" 2 days, perhaps 3, before they reach Earth's orbit." Talia turned, her pattern subdued. "I must decide whether to return with them." "You could stay," Elena said, voice breaking. "With me." Talia cupped Elena's face. "As what? A research subject? A secret to be hidden away? How long before your military finds us?" As if on cue, Elena's satellite phone buzzed, Director Harlow. She answered warily. "Elena, we know," he said without preamble. "Satellite thermal imaging picked up unusual energy signatures at your cabin. The military is mobilizing." "How long do we have?" she asked, stomach sinking. "Hours, maybe. Listen carefully. I've bought you time by sending them on a false lead, but it won't last." His voice softened unexpectedly. "I saw the satellite images, Elena. The energy pattern between you and whatever she is. I recognize connection when I see it." Elena was speechless. "There's a SETI listening post on Baker Ridge," Harlow continued. "Minimal security. If your friend needs to contact her people, that's your best chance. I'll clear the personnel for 2 hours tonight." "Why are you helping us?" Elena asked. "Because first contact shouldn't be a military operation." He paused. "And because 30 years ago, I made a different choice than you did. I've regretted it ever since." After ending the call, Elena turned to Talia, who had heard everything with her advanced hearing. "Your director is a better human than most," Talia observed. They packed quickly and headed out, navigating treacherous mountain roads toward Baker Ridge. The SETI facility was small and remote, a cluster of satellite dishes and a control building nestled on a mountain plateau. As promised, the facility was deserted when they arrived. Talia moved confidently among the equipment, modifying the transmission arrays with quick, precise movements. "What are you telling them?" Elena asked as Talia worked. "Everything," Talia replied. "About you. About us. About what I've learned of humanity." She looked up, violet eyes intense. "I'm asking them to consider a different kind of first contact. Not hidden observation, but open communication." Once the message was sent, they stood together before the satellite dish, watching stars emerge in the darkening sky. "If I stay," Talia said softly, "I may never see my home again. If you go," Elena countered, "we may never see each other again." Talia's patterns pulsed with emotion. "There is a third option, but it would require great courage." Before she could elaborate, headlights appeared on the access road below. Not Harlow's promised military diversion, but black SUVs with government markings. Someone talked, Elena said grimly. In the same moment, the equipment behind them surged to life, an incoming transmission. Talia's people had responded, far sooner than expected. As armed men began to exit the vehicles below, Talia pulled Elena close. Trust me? Elena nodded without hesitation. Talia's luminescence enveloped them both as she raised her face to the stars, her body becoming a beacon in the night, calling to one world while another closed in around them. The soldiers surrounded them, weapons raised but faces uncertain. No training had prepared them for the sight of a luminescent blue woman embracing a human physicist on a mountaintop. Dr. Kozlov, step away from the extraterrestrial, commanded a stern-faced man in a suit, some government agency Elena didn't recognize. Her name is Talia, Elena replied, standing her ground. And she's not a threat. The man gestured impatiently. That's not for you to determine. This is a matter of national security. Behind them, the satellite equipment hummed with increasing intensity. Talia's patterns pulsed in complex sequences as she maintained some silent communication. They're here, she whispered to Elena. As if on cue, the night sky erupted with light, not the violent flash of weapons, but a gentle, expanding aurora that spread across the firmament. The soldiers lowered their weapons involuntarily, faces upturned in awe. A column of iridescent light descended from the center of the aurora, touching down on the facility grounds. Within it materialized three figures, tall like Talia, with similar crests and luminescent skin, though their patterns and coloration varied. The Council of Seekers, Talia explained, her voice tinged with both respect and defiance. The soldiers regrouped, weapons rising again until the government agent raised his hand. Hold fire, he ordered, eyes fixed on the newcomers. The tallest of the Lysithians stepped forward. Unlike Talia, he spoke aloud, his voice resonant and musical. We come for our seeker, he announced. We mean no harm to your world. Admiral Koros, Talia acknowledged, stepping forward but keeping her hand firmly in Elena's. I've completed my mission. Earth is compatible, more than compatible. The Admiral's gaze shifted to Elena, then to their joined hands. You have broken the first protocol, Talia. No direct contact. The circumstances forced her hand, Elena interjected. She would have died otherwise. And yet the contact persisted beyond necessity, observed a female Lysithian, her pattern swirling with what seemed like curiosity. You formed a bond. Talia stood taller. I did. And I've learned more through this bond than 1,000 remote observations could reveal. The government agent stepped forward. We have questions for your people. Demands. As do we, countered Admiral Koros. Starting with the return of our seeker. I'm not leaving, Talia announced, her voice carrying across the mountain. Both human and Lysithian delegations fell silent. Not unless Elena comes with me. Elena's heart hammered. Talia. Or I stay here, Talia continued, and become the first official ambassador from Lysithea to Earth. The third Lysithian, who had remained silent, now spoke. The Council does not authorize such action. Then perhaps the Council's methods are outdated, Talia challenged. For millennia we've observed from afar, too fearful to make true contact. Yet look, she gestured to the humans. They fear us, yes, but they're also capable of so much more. She turned to Elena, taking both her hands now. Show them what you showed me. Understanding blossomed within Elena. Closing her eyes, she focused on the space between them, on the bioelectric field Talia had taught her to sense. She pushed outward with her consciousness, clumsy but determined. Gasps erupted from both sides as a faint luminescence, human, not Lysithian, began to emanate from Elena's skin. It was nothing compared to Talia's natural glow, but it was undeniable, proof that the gap between their species could be bridged. Impossible, whispered the female counselor. She's learning, Talia said proudly. As am I. This is what contact should be, growth, exchange, evolution. The government agent looked conflicted. Dr. Kozlov, what you're proposing is beyond your authority. With respect, sir, Elena replied. First contact scenarios went out the window the moment Talia crashed. We're in uncharted territory. Director Harlow's voice came unexpectedly from behind them. He had arrived unnoticed during the confrontation. Perhaps that's exactly what we need. He approached cautiously, hands visible. Admiral, I'm Richard Harlow, Scientific Director of our Arctic Research Initiative. What if we propose a joint mission? A controlled cultural exchange. The standoff stretched into minutes of tense negotiation. As dawn broke over the mountain, an unprecedented agreement was reached. Talia would remain on Earth as the first Lysithian ambassador, with Elena as her human liaison. In exchange, Earth would send a small delegation of scientists, Elena among them, to visit Lysithea. As the others dispersed to formalize the agreement, Talia and Elena stood alone watching the sunrise. "You risked everything," Elena said, still processing the night's events. "As did you." Talia's pattern shimmered with joy. "I once sought new worlds to save my people. I never expected to find a new world within one person." Elena slipped her arms around Talia's waist. "What happens now?" "Everything," Talia answered, her luminescence brightening. "Everything happens now." Their kiss was witnessed by two suns, Earth's rising in the east, and Lysithea's distant star, barely visible in the morning sky. Between those 2 points of light, something new had been born, a bridge across the void, started by a cry in the snow and the human who refused to let it fade. As Talia's patterns synchronized with Elena's newfound glow, their light mingled and expanded, no longer alien, no longer human, but something gloriously, impossibly new.